people. I'm your host, Rob Villa, aka Mr. Popular, representing the Music Life Social Podcast and the 16 Styles ENT. It's just me in the building today. We have no guests, and salute to my other co-hosts, General Mills and Big King. But tonight we're gonna be holding it down, and I just want to wish everyone happy Black History Month. It's the final week of that, even though Black History Month is every month of the year. But we're gonna talk about this evening for us with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees for 2026. And this feud going on with T.I. and 50 Cent. So let's jump right into it. So recently, in the past week, it's been amped up between T.I. and 50 Cent for us with them going back and forth. Even this song's been coming out, but it essentially started from when they're supposed to do a versus a few years back. And T.I., he's been on a media run right now for promoting his new single, Let 'Em Know, which is hot right now. It's banging, produced by Pharrell, Skateboard P. And he was on a recent podcast essentially talking about the verses that didn't come to fruition. After that, 50, 50 being 50, he got on he got on IG, went to straight social media and Twitter, and just start posting stuff, which is essentially was harmless, but then he posted a picture of Tiny, legend in her own right from the multi-talented, multi-platinum group Escape. Posted a picture of her, just insinuating some things. If you know the movie Scarface, there's no women and children. So a lot of people say essentially went left. What T.I. did, as a true MC would do, he got in the booth and he's like, don't run from this ass whooping. Let's go. Let's do this versus, And then also King, which is the son of Tiny and T.I., he took it he amped it up too. It's like, hey, you talking about my mom's, and a lot of people say, he needs to start a grown man business. King is a grown man. He has a child, and I think he's like maybe 19, 20, or 21. Either way it go. You talk about a black man's mom, all bets are off. And so he went in talking about, 50's mom, who was deceased, which he was going in on, 50 Cent. Like, you talking about my mom, but what about your mother? Which honestly, I had no problem with King standing up for his mom. And, T.I., which is his wife, he stood up for her by just getting in the booth. And then, of course, he put his took his little jabs on social media. But at the end of the day, Tip was like, hey, fuck all that. Excuse my language. Let's get into the booth. Let me hear these bars. 50 being 50, he still went on, still doing memes and all this and that. Tip is one of those ones where he's like, he come from that cloth to like, hey, he's the king of the South. I'm like, okay, you wanna go toe to toe, let's go toe to toe. You supposed to be this MC. And a lot of people say, well, 50 retired, but he just came off a successful world tour of Get Rich or Die Trying like last year. People could miss me with that, miss me with that whole foolishness. And I think too, as well, on a deeper note, that 50, he has some serious issues. I like how T.I. just called him out on the right one, because I've been saying this for years. 50 been moving on some real coonish. He probably is a coon, but he been having coon type of ways where he's always going at the black community, black celebrities, or black people in general. Like T.I. said, you don't have to smoke for those white folks. And it's not necessarily about black and white, but it's all about, okay, who you are targeting one specific group that looks like you. Even how you move outside of music is crazy too, as well, because a lot of people forget that. Shout out to King too, because King put up a timeline like, hey, this is what you've been doing, but I think he missed one point too. Even when he with Tia Marie, loving hip hop stars, R&B singer, she was originally signed to Rockefeller. Def Jam. But Jay-Z signed her when he was the president, and which is a sad situation with her, with the story that she had going on, because her ex, so allegedly went on Instagram, posted a picture of her, very explicit. It's like revenge porn type thing. And of course, it was already out there, went viral, but 50 reposted it. So she sued 50. Of course, she lost. And the judge ruled that she had to pay 50 cents lawyer fees, which is like $30,000. And she said she didn't really have that assets at the time, but he still went after her. He hired even a PI, private investigator, to try to seize whatever she had. And then he also added interest onto that, which wound up to be $50,000. This happened in 2018. And 2014, that's when the interest went up to $50,000. But I don't know what happened to that. But the fact he did that, and he's still really trying to go after her with that, allegedly. But that's just to let you know what type of person he is. Even when, a legend died, which he had well-noted beef with, was Murder Inc. Irv Gotti, who's a very slept-on legendary producer. They had, of course, they had their issues. When he unfortunately passed away not too long ago, he mocked his death. That's one thing I don't really play with. I don't play with death, but granted, if that's his op, he feel like he want to do that. That's his prerogative. Even when Rick Ross went through his situation, he put up a thing of Ivan Drago on his social media. If he dies, he dies. And so now I think people are tired of his people. I think some people are starting to waking up about him trolling and doing buffoonery stuff. To me, I think it's straight buffoonery, because when he dated Chelsea Handler, a noted comic, she had a late night show on E! Called Late Night with Chelsea, and they were dating for a couple of months. For all who don't know who Chelsea Handler is, she's a white comic, white woman, blonde hair, and she has blue eyes and whatnot. I mean, she's all right. She's pretty decent, funny, but they were dating for a couple of months. And I'm not going to bring the other person's name in it, but he was supposedly dating another singer, and she was a guest on his show. He found out he was messing with her, allegedly, supposedly. And she took issue with that, and they wound up breaking up. And then she gave an interview about how what happened. She essentially told the story of what happened. But, she said, what did you say to him? She said, I call him the worst thing you could say to a black person. It's worse than nigger. Now I'm trying to figure out what that word is. And they was asking, the interviewer asked what was fit the response. He's like, he didn't say anything. So it's like, that's some sucker shit to me. He's a straight sucker for that. Because even now, she still take jabs at him. She just recently did, after the Critics' Choice Award, she made a little joke about him with his documentary about Puff, Sean Puffy Combs or whatever, Diddy. And he didn't reply back. He ain't doing anything. So like when it comes to, if someone white speaks out against 50, he don't even say anything. I mean, it's a record of that. But anything, that's why people don't really, as far as with black celebrities, if you mention his name, he want to go after you and attack you. You can miss me with that. You miss me with that, because he's outside of get rich or die trying. It's whatever. I don't really subscribe to all the stuff he does online. Granted, everybody has their own opinion about him. I guess how I feel about him. It's so crazy. He put a video out about Puff, the documentary about Puff, but he's hanging out with Donald Trump, who's in them Epstein files over 38,000 times. So what are we talking about here? He like to cozy up to that side of the fence, which that's cool and all, but like don't try to shit on your own people, bruh. It's like, seriously, man. That's my issue with him. So shout out to the king of the South, the King, T.I., Clifford Harris, because he's holding it down. He's basically holding the mirror up to 50 Cent. Say, yo, man, this is who you really are. And I think 50, he's never really been truly loved by a black woman, or have that black family love, to be honest with you. Because how he moving like that is crazy. And how you keep doing things like that. So, I'm the type of ones, if he see this video, whatever, like, I'm 52, bro. Like, we can go back and forth as well, too. And I also can get in that book, too, and spit, too, as well. So it's nothing for me. So I'm just letting you know, that's my opinion on this whole 50 Cent T.I. thing. Y'all make sure y'all download that T.I. Let him know the album going to drop soon. And he also has a snippet coming out called War. I mean, I think an album's going to come out called War or whatnot. And download them diss songs too, man, because it's all strictly hip hop. And then I just want to touch on another thing about that too, is because I see a lot of media, especially New York media, and it's since like, as far as with black media, it's like, I hope it don't, we get into dangerous territories or whatever, because 50 is, T.I. is really going in on the distance and stuff and putting up things. Like, I want to go down a different, path, but I'm like, 50 and T.I. pretty sensible men. So they, I don't think it's going to go there. I don't think it's going to go there because, when 50 was doing all this trolling, I didn't see no New York media, anybody, black media saying, oh man, I hope it don't go to, go left or whatever. But no, y'all was up there keying and co-signing this stuff and posting and reporting on it. Now that this man T.I. put out 3 diss songs already, going in on this man, everybody was like, oh, I don't want, let's not go 11. And then I'm seeing how a lot of, even though some of these media outlets and podcasts may be friends with him, whatever, they don't want to speak the truth that this man T.I. is killing this dude. Kind of remind me of the whole Kendrick Drake thing when Kendrick was going in on Drake, and a lot of people didn't really want to speak on it. But my thing is like, y'all stop being biased, man, because the South is Southern artists straight from the A is whipping this man's ass. Y'all got to keep it a buck. If a man taking the ass with me, he afraid to get in the booth, and also he doing that clown stuff with Fabulous and Jim Jones and Mano and all them, man. That's sucker shit, man. He doing sucker shit. Money can't unlame a lane. And I just I'm telling you that. How you were before you got money, that's how you are when you get money. It just exacerbates your, as far as with your character. And trust me, I don't think that dude has a good character at all, besides only, put it like this. Nobody's clamoring to be cozying up to him. I don't think so. Because this man, look, man, let's move on. But, it's Black History Month. RIP to a legend, Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Before the end of this pod, I'm gonna give you a quick Jesse Jackson story. It's kind of funny and hilarious to me. So we got also too as well. We got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just put out their nominees for 2026. First of all, before I go into the nominees, I'm gonna let go out to Gene Simmons a kiss. Listen to him. Rock and roll was created by Black Americans. We created all major genres of music: jazz, country, hip hop or rap, and rock and roll. So before you do all this mess saying why this certain artist shouldn't be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, for some hip hop artists shouldn't be in there, or R&B artists, you need to do your research first, bro. Because trust me, the music that you put out was influenced by Black Americans who invented the culture. Invented that genre. So you need to check yourself. And that's all I got to say about that cat or whatever. But anyway, so some of the nominees, I'm going to go by some long list, but some of these nominees, I hope all of them get in, but I doubt that all of them would get in. But maybe they get in for us with the next year. Who knows? So some of these artists are my favorites, like the Black Crowes. You got Mariah Carey. Shout out to Mimi. Hope you get in, sister. Phil Collins, a legend. He got my son to playing drums when he was 2. Phil Collins. Melissa Etheridge. The incomparable Miss Lauryn Hill from the Fugees fame. This is a rock legend right here, Billy Idol, man. More. That's my guy right there, Billy Idol. In excess, R.I.P. to Michael Hutchinson. I think his name Michael Hutchins or Robert Hutchins. I can't. Please forgive me for messing up his name. But the lead singer, he passed. He committed suicide some years back. In Excess is one of my favorite groups in the '80s. The song "New Sensation" was one of my favorites, and "I Need You Tonight." They put out classic joints. Also, we got New Edition, man. I hope these brothers get in because they on a run. They've been on a run lately. They're on tour right now, and they're doing their thing. Got Pink, shout out to Pink. Sade. Oh man, I hope she get in. Luther Vandross, another legend, and you can't forget about those brothers from the island of Cheylin, Staten Island, 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang Clan. Those are some of the artists and groups that are nominated for this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So salute to them. I hope they get in. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to our channel. And also you can on social media too as well, on Musiclifesocial podcast. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. God bless and good night. Word to Russell Simmons. So my quick Jesse Jackson story. So some years ago, I was a technology instructor at the Boys and Girls Club. And Jesse Jackson, this Rainbow Push Coalition, they was getting ready to, NASCAR was trying to get more blacks into to tune into NASCAR. So he was speaking. So I had to take a group of kids down there. I said, hey, we about to go see Jesse Jackson. They said, Jesse Jackson? I said, yeah, they were so hyped. I was like, all right, cool. We're going to see Jesse Jackson. I was like, cool, that's what's up. So we get there, and Jesse Jackson was talking. I said, yeah, there he is. They said, who? I said, it's Jesse Jackson. They said, what? It was like, I thought you was going to take us to see Michael Jackson's sister, Janet. I was like, no, where would you get that? As low key, they was kind of disappointed, but then once Jesse Jackson, as far as with, started speaking, because he's a master of ceremony, he started talking, they was, they felt inspired. And that was back in 03. Yeah, that was like 03 and whatnot, 04. And which I felt good about that. I got a quick pick with him. I don't have to pick on him. I think it's at my mom's house. I would say, some of his views I didn't agree with all of them, but what he did for not saying he just did for Black Americans, but what he did for the world and the culture, I appreciate I appreciate him and salute to him. May God rest his soul and be with him and his family, and prayers out to them. But, shout out to a legend, man, Jesse Jackson. And thank y'all for tuning in to Music Life Social. I want y'all to like and subscribe. Go to social media too, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Hit that like and subscribe button to Music Life Social. All right, one. Peace.